set in the Chronicles of Darkness Vampire Requiem. Requiem for London. Tonight we set the scene with Balthazar Coldmorn, Phineas F. Goodwin of the Invictus, and Figment, ever the delightful third wheel. How you doing, Figment?
She's also
Tricycles are great.
Hmm?
Tricycles are great. Back off.
Yeah, for kids. This is set to be either an auspicious or confrontational evening, the kindred here gathered, as over the past few nights, Coldmorn has, and on behalf of the group and the Keeper, made some very aggressive moves against the businesses of a man known as Hane Dugan. Supposedly, the identity of an individual that the coterie here is looking to hunt down and bring to justice on behalf of the unconquered. Funnily enough, actually, no. Before we go any further, Coldmorn, you have made some very, very aggressive business moves against Mr. Dugan. What is the manner of the message that you sent him to?
The message basically reads in accordance with something along the lines of, "Dearest Mr. Dugan." It's very polite. It will say, "Recently, my holdings company has acquired several assets from noted individuals," and he will give a short list of the various businesses he has acquired, many of whom spoke of you quite highly. However, you did not appear to be in any way on the legal books for these particular buildings. We were wondering if you could add some sense of clarity to this. If possible, if you could please come to us at our offices. And for the record, Balthazar is quite happy to have actually bought offices for this holding company, because he has Scrooge McDuck-esque money. So they will basically be an address, but he won't sign it on behalf of himself. He'll sign it. Basically, he'll have a secretary, or he'll have a member of the holdings company. I'm going to buy staff. Sign it on behalf of sign on behalf of the holding company, and give them a date and an office to go to. Where's a nice place in London, like a nice place to have offices?
City of London.
I thought we couldn't go there, or can we go? Oh no, the Invictus can. We can go there.
Yes. Hunting is prohibited, unless under the king's permission. Kindred can get permission to go there. They're allowed to pass through. It's basically a no loitering policy. The domain doesn't expect to be able to prohibit Kindred from just driving through the air or anything like that. It's effectively impossible to enforce, but as long as you don't linger and you keep strictly to business within the area, supposedly the domain shan't bother you about it.
But as a fellow member of the Invictus, can I get permission to have a business there, in essence, so that I can actually spend time at my holding, if that makes sense?
Yeah, you have some manner of leeway there, because you're an Invictus, so you are granted permission to buy up some offices.
Okay.
Not hard to get permission for something like that. Depends
It'll
on
be
the
one of
scale of what you're purchasing, but
it'll be one of those, one of the high-rise office buildings, and just he'll buy the top floor of some lovely high rise, so we can look out over the city, and
Nice.
that will be the holding company's offices. And as I said, I intend to buy staff as a thing at some point. But yes, it'll invite Mr. Dugan there in order to clarify the state of affairs, as it will say very politely.
Right, yeah. Then all of you are sitting in Mr. Coldman's lovely high-rise office space. Goodwin, I presume, has a very big chair because he is very big.
We will have a. You know what? We'll have a custom-made chair for Mr. Goodwin that swivels around. There you go.
Heck yes. He's never been able to swivel on a
For
chair.
a second, I thought
Once.
you were going to say we got him a beanbag.
You know what? I'm going to say this
I'll
right
put-
now. Mr.
I'll
F. Goodwin has an office in this. It has an office on this floor, right? And all I'm going to say is there may be a giant beanbag there because that image amuses the shit out of me.
It's
Can
like
my
when I
office be a ball
post.
pit?
Oh, sorry.
Can my office be a ball pit?
You don't have an office.
Why can't I have an office?
You know what?
You're
Hey,
not part of the company.
hey Terry, you wanna join a coterie? Then I can give you an office. Yeah.
I'm not an Invictus though.
You don't have to be.
That's true. You don't have to be.
Can
Coterie.
it be a ball pit?
No, but it can have it can be an office.
You could put balls in it.
I'm gonna put balls in it.
Okay.
I imagine it's like one of those postmodern office spaces where it's just really pretentious.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything is like weird
absolutely.
angles.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like as I said, Balthazar doesn't actually really care about the modern fashion so much, but what he does care about is projections of power. So he'll literally hire one of the snootiest upper class kind of designers to just be like, "Oh no, darling, I'll have to feng your shui. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, darling."
Right,
I like how
it's
this is just getting progressively more complex for an office building.
Yeah, it's just like
Mine
every
look-
table is hexagonal and everyone's expected to, it's like not set into like cubicles, it's just everybody has a laptop on the same table. So like
Well,
it
it's
serves the
funny.
same purpose, but it's like not even as efficient.
It's funny because obviously Balthazar's other building in his the club that he owns is like really old money, if that makes sense, and this is just ultra new money. So I like the kind of like neck break dichotomy,
Hmm.
Uh,
But
yeah.
alas, pretentious office design aside, you are all sat at a beautiful table amongst yourselves, as the text has been sent for about half an hour now. You have received a response from Mr. Dugan. He has stated that he will be in attendance. He hasn't said anything more than that. And just around the time that he is expected to arrive, you will hear the lift ding at the other side of the office as the lift doors will open, revealing a besuited and familiar-looking face. I'll just put their face came up for you. Both of you will recognise this face, of course, although Figment won't, given that she was not present for the gambling tournament. Hane Dugan. And average build. fairly handsome-looking face, although he has this perpetually conniving look on him. Looks a bit more skittish tonight, but otherwise composed. Takes a look around as he sort of walks down the office before noticing the three beasts off in the private space of Mr. Coldmorn and his two compatriots. And will put on an overly pleasant smile before making his way over. He'll knock on the door, of course, before entering.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. Dugan.
He'll open the door. Yes, a pleasure. Mr. Colborne, I presume I did not have the pleasure of learning of your two associates, however.
Allow me to do the formal introductions. This is Mr. Phineas F. Goodman.
Good evening. It's a pleasure.
And Miss Figment. Colborne stands up and offers his hand.
He'll shake it. Got a nice firm grip. Of course, nowhere near as strong as you.
It should be noted that Colborne always wears gloves, unless I expressly say he doesn't. Like very kind of form-fitting leather gloves. But he will say, "Please take a seat."
Thank you. He'll pull out a chair. Takes in the aesthetic. He seems to look at it as if he is masking a degree of distaste, but will otherwise take a seat.
I have a really important question, Chris, because obviously I can't tell if this is Dude Bro again or if it's actually Mr. Dugan. So I'm going to phrase it like this: is he purposefully avoiding eye contact with me?
Oh, with you? Yeah, he definitely is.
Fascinating. So, Mr. Dugan, I've recently acquired a number of properties. He flicks open a ledger book with a single finger, and he'll go through and he'll read out the short list of properties that he's recently acquired for his holding company. And he'll say...
He pulled out around 4 or so businesses. All of
Okay.
them relatively small and local.
He'll read out each name. I'm led to understand that they were previously affiliated with yourself.
He rests his arm on one of the chairs, just sort of leans his head against it. Growing slightly more distressed with every name. Yes, those were properties I was initially associated with.
He then flicks over his notebook, and he'll read, "And these are businesses that I have interest and will be acquiring within the next few nights." And he'll read out the remaining businesses that Dugan is associated with.
Oof. You can see just sort of, as you list the names, he just sort of ends up sort of pinching his forehead with his thumb and fingers. Every name putting him into a bit more, just ever more physical pain. I see. May I ask exactly what I've done to warrant such aggression upon my person?
Do you read the newspapers, Mr. Dugan? I do.
Occasionally, I'm a man of digital media myself.
Yes, you see, I'm rather more old-fashioned. When I was embraced, there was no such thing as, well, we barely had running water, let alone and electric light, let alone such wonderful things as the internet. So I came to value printed text. He throws a newspaper under Dugan's nose, where basically it's one of the press coverages of his event, where it says, Mr. Dugan walked away with, like, what was it, £7.5 million or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
Yeah, and he points to it with a single gloved finger, before he'll say, "And yet, this is the first night that you and I are meeting, Mr. Dugan."
Ah, I think I'm beginning to connect the dots.
So, you see, I'm rather put out by those individuals who would so abuse my hospitality. And unfortunately, someone decided to abuse my hospitality wearing your face. Whatever am I to think?
Well, if someone was wearing my face, surely this is also an assault on my reputation as it is yours, yes?
I'm not one who believes in playing coy or possum, Mr. Dugan, so I'm going to give you an offer. This is a one-time offer. It's a good offer if it helps.
Okay. He'll look at you, sort of like, alright, let's hear it.
He casually crosses his fingers together. Myself and Mr. Goodwin have had a conversation, and we agree on one thing. If you are indeed the person who we think you are, that you would make rather excellent unconquered material. Don't you agree, Mr. Goodwin? If Tiger is there.
Apparently Mr. Goodwin
Oh.
disagrees.
Shit, sorry. I completely zoned out. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Did you hear what I said, or do you want me to repeat it?
Repeat it, please.
He said, in the event you are the person who we think you are, myself and Mr. Goodwin happen to believe that you would make excellent unconquered material. Don't you agree, Mr. Goodwin?
Quite so. The ingenuity and the ability that you've shown in forming these various companies and keeping them relatively safe until Mr. Coldmorn came along, of course, shows potential.
We are also led to believe that this individual would have chosen your face because you have a personal relationship with him. He knows you, he knows how to imitate you. Individuals like this spend a very long period of time doing so. So, my agreement with you is this. Simply put, I will cease all hostile activities as it relates towards your business practices. Hell, I will even aid you in the reacclimation of your businesses, and indeed with any financial losses you may have had hitherto and up to this point. In addition, I will help to open a few doors for you here and there where I am able. And in exchange, you will provide me all the information you know about. What was the name of the kindred in question, Chris?
He's known by the name Hallam Chance, which is definitely an alias.
You will give me all of the information you possess on Mr. Hallam Chance, and you will sign on the dotted line when it comes to joining our organization. As I say, I think you would be an asset to the Invictus, and I think we would be an asset to you. So, he smiles. What do you say? And I'll happily make a persuasion check if you want, Chris.
Yes. I'll consider this social maneuvering. Alright, so, if you want to make me a presence plus persuasion check.
Mm-hmm. He'll pop on his awe for those extra dice. Also, does my my business power suit apply for my equipment?
Yes. As for Majesty, I'll just let you know, he can attempt to resist it. If he does, what will occur is that will automatically introduce more doors, which will basically prevent you from convincing him now, if he's able to resist. If he doesn't, then that makes this a lot easier for you.
I thought you didn't resist the first dot. That all was just increased social. I thought it was the later levels that you actively resisted.
No, so the way it works is that a kindred can fortify themselves against ore by making a predatory aura check. The way I run this is that basically you make a predatory aura contest, rather than just the victim rolling predatory aura, because then ore becomes very easy to ignore.
Okay, in that case.
What later levels of Majesty requires, it requires you to have activated ore on somebody to use the other powers on them.
Alright, in that case, I'll do it without the use of Majesty. Yeah. But I will spend a point of willpower to make it a rote action, because it is one of my career skills.
Yeah.
And so how is that? It's roll, number of dice, 9 again, rote? That's all?
Yes. Let me double check this for you.
If necessary, I could just do the 9 again and then roll the amount of dice that don't show up as successes.
Yeah.
Wow, on the first roll.
Okay.
And I didn't even have to do the rote, but I can do the rote if you want to get more successes.
Oh, that's fine. More successes doesn't actually help here. So, you are using soft leverage, and you are appealing to one of his aspirations. So, yeah, another exceptional success. All of his doors are opened in one go because you're just that guy.
I'm just that guy.
Funny enough, the hardest part of the back and forth isn't necessarily getting him to accept because it benefits him. Rather, he is somewhat reluctant to give up his independence. There is a minor concern that the particular barony in which he resides tends to value independent kindred over kindred aligned with a sect.
Oh, he lives in the Maquette one, whose name I can't remember. The independent
Yes.
Maquette.
1 second, just let me get you the name real quick. Yes, but you are correct, however. He resides within the domain of
Eubanks.
Eubanks.
Baron Eubanks, who is a Maquette San Giovanni, a necromancer. Reclusive and old and very independent.
Well, the way that Balthazar will soothe him down with this is essentially that how he'll do it is he'll essentially say that essentially what he'll offer him is to take when he joins the Invictus to sponsor him in and to allow him to take Balthazar for his oath of vassalage. Does that make sense? So essentially, I will take care of him if he agrees to sign on the dotted line.
Okay, that is. It takes about a minute for you to explain why that's meaningful to him, or why that should be meaningful to him. But he grasps the concept pretty quickly. And after a bit more cajoling, let's say, oh, I have to say you make a very enticing offer. I would be inclined to accept and in return assist you in handling Mr. Chance however I'm able to do so.
Wonderful.
He's a very mercenary individual.
Kind of looks at Phineas like, "Oh no, we're not mercenary at all." Pushes the ledger away, just like, nope.
Phineas stands there and sighs whatever the fuck it is currently. Too much. Sighs too much.
Did you buy more Carnum over downtime?
No, I'm still just at size 9.
Yeah, but he has gotten stronger.
I have gotten stronger.
We'll say though. Yes, he's quite a mercenary individual, so I don't exactly owe him my loyalty. I'm simply looking to take advantage of the situation and a certain man's reputation. Given that reputation has turned to infamy, I'm glad that in your generosity you have presented me with an opportunity to rethink my life choices. If you're looking for a precise location, I cannot tell you that. To my knowledge, he does not. Well, few of us hand out our havens to others for obvious reasons. But this is not the first time I have bargained with him. I could attempt to set up another deal with him. Sting, if you will.
Good.
He's quite cocksure. He's quite happy to meet up in person. Does have a habit of sneaking up on me, though. He possesses the capacity to hide oneself from the mind. To my knowledge, he's quite talented at it.
Where would you normally meet him?
We generally rotate on who picks the location. It was to build a sense of trust.
Whose turn was it last?
Roll chance die. High it is Dugan's turn. Low it is Hallam's turn. He picked the location last time, so you have. It appears fortune is on your side, which is rarely the case of this man.
Yes.
I actually played him at a few games myself. I wanted to test his prowess. Used all the tricks of blood that I had on him. I still lost.
Yes. Very well. Let me think. Where can we minimize the chances of being seen? One of the parks out of character, Chris, maybe? Because I know the UK has quite a lot of parks.
Yeah, there's quite a large number of parks in London. It certainly wouldn't be the worst place to meet with him, given that it's a deserted space for the most part. You just have to worry about the odd jogger or two or late night dog walker, but for the most part it should be masquerade secure, as long as you're careful. It does present him with multiple escape routes, of course, because you'll be in a park, but then that's probably why he'd feel secure meeting you there. You imagine he probably wouldn't. He's probably not foolish enough to meet with you in an abandoned warehouse or something like that.
I was about to say I have a warehouse there, but nah.
I have a graveyard.
No, we need somewhere that if we have to go, like basically Colborne's pretty sure he can catch him, but the problem is that Dude Bro decided to if I couldn't go like loud in the place we were last time because it would have been a breach. But we need somewhere we can go quasi loud, if that makes sense, if it becomes necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So.
A park wouldn't be the worst place for that. A rooftop wouldn't be the worst place either. And you know he can reach rooftops, given what you've seen.
Yes. Let me just think.
Graveyard.
Hmm?
Graveyard.
A graveyard's not actually a terrible idea because they're also large.
Dugan will say a graveyard wouldn't be the worst idea.
There's a gate. Also, there's ghosts there.
Okay, would be the worst location. I can't speak to ghosts. I can't speak to the efficacy of ghosts in this matter. But I'm sure you're far more educated on that than me.
Alright, Figment. He turns his attention. We will use your suggestion. We will apprehend him in a graveyard. There's some poetry there, I think.
And I can always tell some friends to tail him if he gets away.
That's true. Set up a meeting, Mr. Dugan. You have my cell number.
I will do so. My liege, is that what you'd prefer to be called?
Mr. Coldmorn is fine. Okay. I don't think he kind of looks at Philly. I don't think we've called people liege lords or anything like that since the Dark Ages.
I know it's never been done in my lifetime. Except in perhaps older domains with older leaders.
We do still call the king, I suppose.
Well, what else would we call him?
That's valid. So what he does is Colborne will take out his phone and he presses a few buttons on it. It was the harpy or the keeper who wanted this gentleman trussed up like a Christmas goose.
The harpy, or no, the keeper.
Keeper. All right.
Yeah.
So he's gonna call her because I know we had her number, and he's gonna put her on speed. He's gonna put her on speakerphone. Ring 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 ring.
Ring 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 ring. Ring 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 ring. Ring 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 ring. Beep. Yeah, hello.
Ah, what was her name again, Chris?
Blair Starling.
Miss Starling. I have some excellent news for you.
I think the whole domain's in need of that right now, my dear.
You're not incorrect in that assertion. Very simply put, we've managed to nail down a meeting with our favorite man, Mr. Chance.
I see. How did you manage to do that?
Well, correct. Was she a notary? I seem to recall in the back of my head she might have been.
Blair?
Yeah.
She's the keeper, she's not a notary.
She is Invictus, though.
She is Invictus.
Okay. Our new convert, Mr. Dugan, who will be joining the Unconquered in the next few nights, has agreed to set up a meeting for us.
I see. It takes a moment to ponder. She said over the phone. You intend to bring Mr. Dugan into the fold?
He is an ideal candidate.
I suppose that is true, from a Ventry perspective.
She's a diva, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
He'll say, I was, however, curious about one thing. I'm happy to lend a boon in the event you do not. Ideally, Mr. Chance has shown himself to be rather adept in the manifestations of the powers of the blood as it pertains to obfuscation. But he is to meet Mr. Dugan. I'm curious if anyone owes you a boon, or if a boon could be traded for us to have another individual willing to shield and cloak us, so we may, shall we say, strike when the moment is most advantageous.
No one in my employ, I'm afraid. You're out of luck there.
Unfortunate.
As for Mr. Dugan, I may need to get in touch with some of our establishment's higher-ups.
Indeed, he will need to be formally sworn and all of that malarkey, but that can wait until after he's proven his loyalty.
Yes, I'll make sure it's cleared with the board.
Understandable. Very well. In that case, we shall... He kind of cocks an eyebrow and says, where is it should we be able to apprehend Mr. Chance you wish him to be brought?
Just bring him to the backside of the casino.
Understood. Click.
Dugan is on his phone. What's going on? We're looking at a time frame here of a few nights. I think I can get a meeting with him within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Good. Inform us when and where.
As an aside, you are aware of the unique properties he possesses, yes?
The manipulation of, well, fortune, I believe I was told.
Hmm. I'm not entirely sure of the of how it specifically worked. Although from what I have experienced, the impression I have gotten is that he tends to give everybody around him bad hands as opposed to giving himself a good one.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very well. Well, let us know when and if you are able to set up a meeting, and we shall go from there.
I'll do
Figment.
so. He tends to have a bird familiar follow him around, or scout ahead of him, it depends.
Understandable. Figment, dear, I have a question.
Yep.
Are there any crypts in your cemetery? Stone buildings that house mausoleums, things of that nature?
Yes.
Excellent. It gives us a perfect hiding place.
Indeed.
Good. Well, Mr. Dugan, he kind of looks at Figment. Could you suggest the name of one of them?
Insert crypt in the graveyard.
Crypt.
If you could arrange to meet him by that crypt, that would be very helpful, and we will simply hide inside.
I think that would work. I don't think he'd suspect anything as long as I wasn't asking him to walk into the crypt itself.
No. When the time comes, I'm sure that Mr. Goodwin over there is strong enough to rip a door off its handles. Or go through a door.
I've done both.
Ghosts get mad when you break their houses.
I'm sure they do, dear.
Anyway, Dugan just sort of looks at Phineas. You certainly have a physique for it, if it's worth anything.
He just kind of tilts his head, like, yeah.
Tell me what I don't already know, would you?
Man, it's almost like I can't have a car because I bought him out the fucking vehicle. Just walk everywhere. All my suits smell like rain.
Yeah, taking the subway is an absolute bitch.
Yeah. And I got fame too, so like kids are coming up and like,
Tiny European cars.
Tiny European cars, giant European man.
Okay, he's agreed to the meeting. About 24 hours from now.
Good. So yeah, so Tiger, I think Chris, I think the plan is we're just going to go wait in the crypt, and Dugan can send us a text message when he wants us, when we should burst out and melodramatically beat this man into torpor.
Mr. Dugan, as I love calling him that, I'm just going to start calling him Mr. Dugan. We'll say, you're aware he's thicker than a brick wall, right?
Yes. With one hand, because obviously there's nobody else in the room. with one hand, the Coleman will casually lift the table.
I assume this is okay. I believe I understand. This is not your first go at detaining him.
I used to very casually fight entire packs of Carthians during the last war for fun.
Well, Coldmore and I have not fought together fairly often. In fact, I believe we've only done it once so far. But as it goes, the dynamic is I'm the one that they see coming.
I believe I'm beginning to understand your dynamic.
Physically, your friend is not threatening. The problem is seeing him. And he is very good at running away.
Yes. And to my understanding, his blood is thick for his age.
Rather too thick. He and I are going to have some very interesting conversations. I sense he might have done something very taboo indeed.
If that is the case, final death will be too good.
Yeah, because Chris, he's not terrifically old, is he? As a kindred, I was told he was an ancilla.
He's an ancilla, yeah. So the average ancilla had a blood potency of around 3 to 4. So
this guy was rocking at least a 5, if not higher. So yeah, Oldmorn will nod and he'll say, "Yes, I intend to ask this man some very interesting questions. So we shall hopefully get the opportunity." Very good. Yes. He puts down the table. It's like,
as an aside, I'll make sure, or one of us should make sure the area is clear of wildlife. He's still a gangrel after all. I can handle that myself if that is what you prefer.
Indeed. Though, kind of looks at Figment, I don't guess. Question. How does ghostly activity affect the presence of natural wildlife, if at all?
Kind of depends.
That's actually the most accurate response you could have given.
Fascinating.
Depends on the nature of the ghost, the nature of the animals. Why?
I think he just left briefly. I had the door shut.
Oh, no reason. Just musing. I'm getting a Coke. But yes, Chris, shall we fast forward on to the next night?
If you prefer, you've made a good time on your dealings with Mr. Dugan.
One thing, because I may, okay, for Tiger, I will have it custom made, but it probably won't be ready for tomorrow. But I will have some custom made. I'd like to basically get a set of Kevlar armor for myself, Kevlar chest armor for myself and Terry for tomorrow.
Okay, that's simple. You can do that on the night or just before. You have the resources and the connections for that. Mr. Goodwin does not have as much luck. They don't exactly do Kevlar in his size.
Understand.
But I will have a suit custom made for him. Just saying.
Yes, they can.
Not for now.
It'll take them a little bit of time. Yeah. Unfortunately, Mr. Goodwin is big.
I am big boy.
What is his gracious defense? Being a brick shithouse made of brick shithouses.
Yeah.
The benefit of being like unimaginably hard to harm and kill, matched by the enormous inconvenience of one's own enormity.
That's almost poetic in a fucked up way, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
I am so big, no one can hurt me, but I am so big that no one wants to do anything with me. I am all alone.
I can't find shoes.
You really, actually, it is a pain, like, finding anything in your size.
Dog, I wear a size 13 in men's US, and it's hard as hell, like, just with that. I can't imagine for Phineas. Like, he probably has to get them custom made.
Yeah,
there,
pretty
there,
much.
there are like people, like places that cater to those who are incredibly large, like people who've got like gigantism and other things like that. So they do exist.
Yes.
Well, as long as there's an internet.
I like to imagine that's why he has such a low resources score. Like, he actually makes a good amount of money. It's just most of it is just catering to his large size.
Yes. All right, so we will wait in the crypt.
Waiting in the crypt.
Can I before the actual meeting happens? Can I talk to some of my ghost friends about, like, hey, in the event that this guy leaves alone, can you follow them?
Yes. So some fun ghost facts for you, Figment.
Okay, ghost facts.
Every cemetery has a sort of principal ghost within it.
Mm-hmm.
Your ghost research for your ghost science indicates that this ghost is the first ghost that emerges when a cemetery is constructed. Some would call it a geist. It is significantly more powerful than other ghosts. All other ghosts that follow it, within the cemetery at least.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have geist powers.
Mm-hmm. And and sort of acts, say, as the leader of the cemetery, as the sort of ghostly community, but certainly acts as the guardian that is sort of the shadowy area of the cemetery. Yeah, it'd be more accurate to call it a guardian as opposed to a leader.
Mm-hmm.
But yours, oh god. Yours just calls himself Eight Fingers. He doesn't really know his real name anymore. It's been a long time.
Good old Eight Fingers.
Good old Eight Fingers. Even his ephemeral form only has 8 fingers. But his ephemeral form is a mostly a real person, a pale blue. His form is almost translucent in that it's like there is sort of, you can sort of see the skeleton beneath his form. Like it's almost as if he has a skeleton of ephemera beneath him, or within him.
Interesting.
Ghosts have these little spiritual quirks. None of them really ever look quite the same, and they definitely don't always look like how they used to be in life. That's something you've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll but he'll say, so this who is this guy?
There needs to be taught a lesson.
No, I love teaching people lessons.
I knew I could count on you. My friends should be able to handle it, but in the event that they can't, your assistance would be greatly appreciated.
Well, you of all people know what we normally want in exchange for a favor.
What are they in exchange for a favor? Favors, right? Like, I mean, the last guy wanted me to go haunt some people.
Yeah, that's usually what ghosts want. They want to be remembered. They want to gain, for lack of a better term, you know that there is a tie to their essence and memory. There's a link there. So usually they want a long story short. It's similar in the way that kindred want blood and humans want food. Ghosts want essence. That's the most cynical way of putting it.
Hey, weird question for Evan. In all of the weird businesses that you own, are any of them something like a newspaper or a magazine or something like that?
They can be.
They can be. So
I mean, I can buy a newspaper if you want.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably, you wouldn't even have to necessarily buy it. So what I was thinking is that Figment could start like basically writing either like weekly or even a daily column about it would kind of be posing as like, you know, a tourist type thing of like cool spots around London, but like basically highlighting the historical significance of like different people and different ghosts and different people, not like telling them ghosts obviously, but basically like, hey, here's a cool story about this person that was super awesome and like did these things, and this is where they're located, this is where their grave is located. And basically make that an ongoing thing, to try and like get ghosts that do me favors, like get them remembered and recognized by like gothy history nerds coming to visit the graveyard.
Sure. What Balthazar can easily do is he can't do it with the news because buying a newspaper would take him time and effort. But what he can do is, for your help tonight, he can easily throw you the startup money to basically make like your own website about it.
Cool. And I mean, really, with my like, do I have connections? I don't really have a lot of connections, but I have.
What does
like
Balthazar have?
Lots of money.
You have lots of money. You have no contacts or allies within the media, though. Got some political contacts. Could be helpful in getting it in.
Money.
Is Tiger famous?
Phineas is famous, yeah.
Yeah, I got fame too.
Yeah, Phineas is famous. He's like national superstar.
You want to help promote my new ghost graveyard newsletter?
I can do that.
That would definitely garner interest.
So there you go. I'll pay for it. Phineas will then be the front. Phineas can then front it, and then you have a thing.
Yeah, and that can be what I do for your company. Is that I run the like media / like writing thing. I can do things.
I'll have my
cult newspaper.
I'll have my agent write up a press release so we can get this started.
Nice. It'll be like a local occult tourism blog.
How promising.
I will be. Oh my gosh, no! I have contacts cottagecore witches. I forgot I have that.
I give it to you as a reward.
Yeah, I could definitely use those contacts to make this happen. I can be TikTok famous.
All right, let's you can bother Chris in your blue books, dear. Let's go beat up a fox man.
Sorry, no, yeah, but no, but the roundabout reason is this is basically what I'm going to offer him is I'm going to if he wants like me to get specific people to visit him, I will, but like I'm basically going to make this offer of like I am going to make sure people remember him and the other ghosts in the graveyard this way.
Um, Eight Fingers, his half skeletal face looks at you. In his lanky in his lanky, translucent long coat, and he'll just say, "I don't understand half of what you just said, but the parts I did understand sounded promising, so I'll take you at your word."
Great.
Huh.
Can Geist actually like hurt vampires?
Pardon?
Like
There's a
I
whole
don't know. Can
they can. It's called Geist.
well, well, yeah. I mean, I get that, but like,
Are you asking if ghosts can affect people?
well, yeah. I basically, would they be able to, essentially, if Phineas and Balthazar can't beat this guy to death, would the ghosts be able to, or would they just basically be following?
Roll me intelligence plus occult.
Sure. Mm-hmm. 3 successes. Successes.
Okay. Ghosts are they are bound to their anchors, and it is difficult for them to affect the living world. If it were easy, well, ghosts would be seen a lot more often in graveyards.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, in order for a ghost to materialize and affect the world, the living world, the environmental conditions need to be very ripe for it. Mechanically, this means in order to actually materialize and even attempt to do so, or even attempt materialization, the area needs to have the open condition.
Okay, that's fine. So in that case, then I'll just tell him basically, if in the event that this guy leaves the graveyard, to follow and figure out and see where he goes.
You know that ghosts tend to grow weaker the further they get from their anchors.
Mm.
So, how far they'll be able or willing to go somewhat depends.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll be able to go
Yeah.
some distance. They'll be able to leave the cemetery at least, you know that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a question of how much further beyond that. You know the effects can start souring the ghost's demeanor quite quickly. But
As far as they can get. Again, this is more of a contingency plan, so.
Certainly it is not something that a conventional kindred should be able to detect.
Mm-hmm.
After all, to your compatriots right now, you are talking to Finnair.
They're used to it. But all right, so we got ghost spies.
Excellent.
All right, so I guess we'll just pile in the crypt and wait for the text message.
Yeah. Mr.
For the record,
Dugan
like-
looks at your preparation as a mixture of confusion yet acceptance.
For the record, I will point out, Chris, like, we are going to go to, like, be in this crypt from, like, an hour after sunset. Like, if we have to wait there half the night, it's cool, but he wants to get there, like, super early, because as was pointed out, this dude likes to aerially spy on things, so he wants to be there well and before any, like, bird or shenanigans would appear, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No chicanery this time.
I'm bringing a deck of cards.
I bring 2 decks to play solitaire.
Rude.
What?
There's 3 of us. We're gonna play solitaire.
I mean, what?
Yeah, what? Why are you playing solo there, bro? Anyway.
There are cards for us to play while we're waiting. Why do you want to play by yourself?
I don't. I want you to play by yourself over there where I don't have to listen to you.
Fine, I'm taking my ghost and going home. This is my goddamn cemetery.
I was going to say this is your own.
There's a
wait, I
tiny
am
ghost army ready to blast
You
everyone
leave.
right now.
I'm only fucking around, that was funny.
However. You get that early. Dugan is also there early. He doesn't acknowledge you when you enter the crypt. It comes across as rather deliberate. Seems like, just in case all of you are being watched, he doesn't want to be connected to you in any way. He's just across the pathway from where the crypt is, so it's close to the crypt. But it's far enough away that he's not standing right next to it, and it's not blindingly obvious that he's waiting next to this crypt for somebody to jump out at you like a skeleton leaping out of a closet. You see that as time goes on, about half an hour passes since his arrival. He's beginning to get a little bit impatient. He begins tapping his foot. He looks at his watch. In fact, you probably don't see this. You will hear this. I'll say you'll hear this because you're in a crypt.
So the plan, by the way, guys, I think is when he arrives, I'm going to basically spend the blood for celerity and burst out through the door because I can cover the distance like a snapshot and hopefully get an attack on him before he figures out what's going on. Then if I can't take him out in one shot, if I can't like shot him out, Phineas will go back to our grapple and punch plan, and now we know he can become a King Fox.
Yes, I won't go for a full Nelson this time. I'll go for a bear hug.
A mere
I want to say 3 vampires in a crypt waiting to leap out at some guy. Very schlock horror.
I mean, it's nearly Halloween, Chris. What do you want from us?
You're doing very well. I'm proud of you guys. You're very on brand
Yay.
right now.
Look, the classics are classics for a reason.
Exactly.
You're not wrong. I can Boris your Karlov.
Please.
Damn.
Anyway,
Moving on.
Anyway. Eventually, however, Figment.
Yep.
You have all specs, don't you?
That's a great question.
You should.
I should do a lot of things.
Oh,
Like
you
spend my
don't,
XP.
you
I
suck.
do not have all specs.
Yeah, you do suck. It's fine. Well, it's not
I
fine.
had-
You suck, but it's, you know. We
I
all
had to put all my
tolerate.
points
Cool.
into necromancy.
She's
Except
a
that-
true. Why would she have Auspex?
Oh, because her bloodline has it.
Oh,
Do
well,
I?
Yeah, they get
Why would I
Auspex
take
with
Auspex
Infan.
when I can also
I don't
necromancy
think
though?
I don't think they do.
Yeah, they do. I'm gonna double check this in the middle of the scene. Just because I
Dun
can.
dun 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 dun. I'm hungry.
Why are you bringing this up in the middle of a scene?
Because I want to finish the scene so I can go make dinner.
Wow.
You're the one who
Wow,
wanted to come.
Rude.
Wow, Terry. You're the one who wanted to come.
I
Yeah.
do. But I'm also hungry.
Actually rude. By the way, I have looked it up. Yes, you do get Auspex's ink plan.
Well, I don't have it, so
Yep.
suck on me sucking.
Yep.
you do have a ton of XP. You can fix this
I
problem.
do have 18 XP.
But
I
you-
just counted.
You refuse to spend.
You mean to tell me you literally have enough XP that you could literally buy Auspex 5 rather than don't have any in a music?
Correct.
Well,
I could buy anything I want right now.
never mind then. Another couple minutes will pass. Until you will hear from the crypt muttering between two individuals. It's not immediately clear who's talking. You know, Dugan's talking because he's been here the whole time. You think the other person is Hallam. Has to be, right? Has to be your target. But the voice isn't immediately distinct. They're a little bit far away. But
Well, Dugan is meant to text us when it's a good time, so.
after about a few minutes of conversation, you'll begin to hear footsteps approach the crypt. Two pairs of footsteps, actually. Two individuals. As the voices begin to grow a little bit louder, and you begin to make out your quarry's voice. That's definitely him.
What are they saying?
Dugan is feeding him a pretty obvious line of bullshit about how he has another job for him at another casino. Obvious to you
Alright.
guys, I suppose. Perhaps not so obvious to Chance. If he is onto it, he hasn't expressed it. Not verbally, at least.
When they get nice and close, cracks knuckles, cracks back.
Here, everybody make me a composure plus stealth roll, and I will give you a dice bonus because you're inside a crypt.
Thanks. That offsets the penalty I get for not having stealth.
Yes, in fact, it will probably compensate quite nicely. I'm just
I'm
checking.
gonna-
'Cause I intend to give you. I'll give you a dice bonus equal to the inverse of the cover penalty or the concealment penalty, which in this case is substantially concealed because you're literally inside a crypt. So it'll be plus 3 dice to your stealth roll.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm going to spend up willpower because I also don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah, I will as well.
That'd be
Guess
worse.
I have to too now.
Get dragged along.
Oh, do we take a penalty for anything to do with him?
No.
Okay.
Hey!
God
I'm
damn,
Exceptional
Fig.
success was a good thing too because Balthazar is not very quiet.
Shut the fuck up, Balthazar!
So Figment is just like, I'm just gonna, cover for this guy's complete lack of subtlety. Figment is like, fucking Ventru, dude.
Oh, Deva. I'm a fucking Deva.
I'm a Ventru.
I'm a Ventru.
Hey, high five, Ventru, high five.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Goodwin is significantly more quiet than his pint-sized friend, which is kind of ironic but also funny.
It's a dice roll, Chris. The dice said no.
They did say
Listen.
no.
I'm literally 4 times as sneaky as you are.
Yeah, that's how numbers work.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Now,
5
next
times
time-
as sneaky.
Next time we roll, I'll be the one that is fucking up on this stuff.
it's okay.
So the Terry's exceptional success covers for me. Good to know.
Yeah, it literally does. She basically stops you from moving. Not in a rough or brusque way, but in a sort of
Like you were about to step on a stick or something, and I just no, stop it.
pretty much. As an aside, Phineas can't fail. He's too big to fail.
Capitalist jokes.
I like
the pain. But yes, as you hear the footprints approach the crypt, they come to an abrupt stop as Hane continues. To talk as you hear your quarry say, "You know, Dugan, if I didn't know any better, I would say you were pulling my leg." And then you're all gonna leap out at him.
Aha!
Aha!
I came from beyond the grave.
Oh, they don't stand a ghost of a chance.
So Chris, to kick this off, to kick this proverbial thing off, because I said I was going to do it. So Balthazar spends a blood point for celerity to become very fast. Passively, I've got strength 7. I assume that's good enough to body check my way through that door.
Strength 7. Yeah, knocking down a stone door. Yeah, you could just bulldoze through it.
It's not a stone door. It's probably a wooden door to a crypt.
Oh wow, yeah, that's strength 5, I think. Actually, it's listed as strength 5. Yeah, so you completely annihilate that door.
Don't worry, Figment. I'll get the ghost a new door.
Figment, you can see ghosts getting to
I'm sorry, I'll fix
rouse
it.
themselves.
You could have just opened the door.
But basically, I'm going to jump out with my sword in hand and hopefully get a surprise attack on Dugan's face. Or not Dugan, on Chance's face.
Alright, he has no defense. He is surprised. Only because it came a second sooner than he was expecting.
Really?
Well, as he said to Dugan, you know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you were pulling my leg. He seemed to be suspecting something. At least as the conversation went on.
God damn it, Dugan.
But, hey, Dugan bought you the time you needed. Don't be mean to Dugan. You already took him for all he's worth.
So I'm going to spend my last blood point for an extra 2 dice. So I'm rolling a total of 17 dice.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, what are you rolling? Strength plus...
It's strength 3 plus melee 3 plus my melee spec, because I'm using my dueling sword. So that would be melee 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus my vigor of 4, which is 12, plus a willpower, which is 15, plus the blood spent, which is 17.
Oh, sorry, plus, so you're on 8, then vigor is 4, so that's 12.
4, 12, plus willpower
And then the
And
sword bonus, because you have the special sword.
oh yeah, so that's a total of 17 without spending blood, so it's actually a total of 19.
Oh, where's the other 2 dice coming from?
I'm spending a blood point.
Ah, alright, yeah.
I have a BP of 3, so I can spend that blood point. I'm literally trying to torpor this man in one hit, Chris. I'm throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him.
Well, he does get to reflexively use resilience, but you should be able to do some good damage here. Oh, that's an
Wow.
success. Well done.
All of those dice and only 5 successes. That's horrific. Okay. So that's going to be a
total around like 5 to 7, to be fair. I've noticed.
That's fair. So that's going to be a total of sword is strength plus 1.
Sword is, I believe it is. Let me double check for you. It is weapons and armor. I count machete as a sword.
Machete don't pre.
You're using a dueling sword, right?
Yes.
So that's a rapier. So that's only plus 1. Yeah.
So that is a total then of 5, 10.
So 5 plus 1 is 6, and plus your vigor if you spend for it. You
I did.
a blood point and vigor. Yes, we did. So, and that's plus another 4. So that's 10 damage.
10 lethal damage because I use Kindred Dueling to do lethal.
Ah, yes. You use carving, I believe it's called, isn't it?
I can't remember what it's called. It's level 3, which is just lethal to Kindred.
Oh, that's gonna.
Might be called. Yeah, it is called. It's.
That's gonna fucking hurt.
You're right. It's called carving, by the way. Rank 1 is called hamstring. Rank 2 is taunt. Rank 3 is carving. Rank 4 is pincushion, which I still think is funny. And rank 5 is spray.
Okay. Oh, then you cut straight into him, and well, as the name suggests, quite viciously carve him up. Even with his unnatural resilience, that slows the swiftness of how you cut through him. That only makes the wound look more vicious. This seriously hurts him. He actually cries out and reels backwards, almost as if he were in one of those old horror movies.
Balthazar will say, "A pleasure to see you again, Mr. Chance," as he runs him through.
Alright. We will enter initiative now. Actually, no, we won't, because Figment and Phineas get their action.
Well, I would like to grapple.
Phineas, do your thing. I'm not a combat character.
Figment's just gonna sit here and critique.
Yeah, I'm just basically just gonna watch and see if he gets away. I'm gonna chase him.
Oh yeah,
Fair enough.
Phineas now knows to hold him in the right way. So if he tries to do that transform bullshit, we know. We know.
He can still turn into a bird, but at least you could grab him this time. I'm immediately getting away.
All right, here we go. 5 successes to grab.
Yeah, you can also choose to do damage to him immediately, or take a grapple action. I probably wouldn't recommend damage, if only because he has his resilience active. It would be a wasted action, but you can do something else to him.
I'll just hold him.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you bring him down to the ground and still hold him, or do you have to let him go?
I think the way it works is you have to actually no, because you got an exceptional success. You can take 2 of these actions.
Oh.
So normally, where the fuck could I grapple?
So I can hold him and then restrain him. You can restrain your opponent with duct tape, zip ties, or painful joint lock. Your opponent is immobilized.
Yes. So yeah, the way this works is that normally you have to hold somebody before using the restrain action. However, you can because you got an exceptional success, you can do both.
Excellent.
So I'll hold and restrain.
Alright, yeah, so you pin him, and what this basically does is that it immobilizes him, and you do not lose your defense.
Hmm.
So that is your action. Figment will golf clap.
I will
Figment,
golf clap.
are you
If he
saying
does,
he's immobilized now? You should just try dominating him. Who knows? Like his head is now immobilized, so you can just look at him.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can attempt to dominate him. Yeah, you can do that.
Lord knows
Sure.
I'm
My
gonna.
plan was if he got away, I was going to light him on fire. But I guess I could do this in the
also
meantime.
Lord
Alright,
knows
I'll try.
I intend to try and dominate him if you can't, because I want to talk. I want to ask him some questions.
Hold on, let me find the dominate thing. Okay, yeah. I'll walk over and try to dominate him. Sure. Sure, but okay. Alright, what's the dominate roll?
It is intelligence plus expression plus dominate,
Sweet.
which you should be good at because you're smart.
Yeah.
You have dominate. You have dominate, I think.
Yes, I have dominate one.
Oh, at least you haven't screwed that up.
I mean, I only have one. Alright, so
it's
it's
okay. You
7.
only need one, to be fair. This versus his resolve plus blood potency. Yeah, roll for him.
One success.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. His will proves too strong for you to dominate.
Alright. Won't be too long to get lit. Won't be too strong to get lit on fire.
Okay, well, yeah, that's it.
So now we roll initiative.
Yep. Roll me a D10 plus your dexterity plus composure. Roll for him real quick. What was he?
Oh wow! Finally, a good initiative roll. So that's a 13.
Oh, his initiative was quite poor.
I got a 10.
He got a 10 also. I'll just double check. I don't think celerity adds to initiative.
I got
It
12.
doesn't.
Got an 8.
So 13, 12, 10, 8. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in those chat responses. So, who got 13?
Me.
Okay.
To be fair, creating a custom devotion where celerity added to initiative would actually be a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Well, Prastantia already does that, so.
Oh, that's fair. But it's a
Yeah.
dead discipline, though.
Well, it's not dead. There are clans and kindred with that discipline out in the world.
That's fair.
But what did you get, Figment?
12.
12. Okay. So Figment got 12. And Phineas, what did you get?
10.
And Phineas, I'll put you ahead of Mr. Chance. Dugan won't be taken part as far as he's concerned. He's done his role. And
Yeah,
Correct.
he is not a combatant, so this is not what he does. So
That's fair.
he will stay out of the running here. We all use the rules of down and dirty combat. I.e., whoever gets the shit kicked out of him fastest loses.
Great.
So it was written in the ancient scrolls of butt whoop.
Mm-hmm. So, Balthazar, it's your turn.
So Balthazar darts around, and I'm going to try and dominate him.
Alright, roll it.
I'm going to spend another willpower. That's 3 spent. because I know he's got a big boy blood pool, or a big boy blood potency pool. Ooh, 5 successes.
All right, yeah, your will takes hold of his mind quite quickly.
And we're going to, God bless Requiem Dominate. We're going to also do Iron Edict on him for the "You will obey me for the rest of this night."
Okay, so you're going to spend additional vitae?
Yeah, I'm going to spend it. Well, I don't have to spend any vitae to do this, so I spend a vitae. Mesmerize has no vitae.
Mesmerize doesn't, Iron Edict does. Basically, you add Iron Edict's cost to the Mesmerize if you want to push Dominated condition instead of Mesmerize.
So I'm spending a vitae to do this. So yeah, so that brings me down. I was at a total of 12 minus 3 from last turn, which brings me to 9 minus 1. So I'm at 8. I'm still comfortable in my blood pool.
Yep, you're not hungry yet. You're getting hungrier, but you're not hungry yet. You can go a few more rounds before it catches up with you.
So yes, and I will command him to stop resisting.
Okay. Oh yeah. Sense combat. He stops resisting immediately.
Good. Ugh. Balthazar blinks. As I said, I like to do the role play thing of whenever he uses Dominate, it hurts his eyes, so he just kind of dabs his eyes with a handkerchief, a hanky. You can let him go, Mr. Goodman, or Mr. Goodman. I assure you, he's quite sedate.
Phineas will slowly let him go. If I may, I would like to declare that Phineas had him in my favorite name for a submission move in wrestling, which is hurrah, another year. Surely this won't be greater than the last. The inexorable march of progress will lead us all to happiness.
Whose wrestling move was that? I must know.
His name is Zack Sabre Jr. He named it after a indie album that he likes. He also has a finisher called Barry from EastEnders.
What is the Barry from EastEnders finisher?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm gonna look it up. I just remember the really long one because it's A, really cool, and B, the name.
Make a note of my secretary, Figment, that I'm to get the ghosts a new door.
Yep.
Oh, okay. It's like an abdominal stretch, but then he falls backwards and kind of chokes you out with it too. That's cool.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Chris, are you there?
He said BRB in the.
Oh, we did, didn't we? My apologies. Coolio.
Yeah.
Oh man, the little sushi chef in the cute animal section of sales is my life now.
Yeah, I love him.
Sushi chef.
Yeah, look in the cute animal section on sales. It's pretty great. I also used to point out, for those of you who do not have the experience of Asian culture that I do, do you know how big a deal being a sushi chef is taken as? Hilariously, a big deal. You can apprentice for years just to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find interesting.
I exist again.
Come back.
Welcome back.
Mhm.
So, Balthazar just kind of sits down on one of the kind of leans on one of the graves as he flicks his sword clean, clicking it back into the cane before he'll say, "So, Mr. Chance, I have a few questions for you. Let's start with the simple one. What is your real name?"
Just Hallam. I don't remember my last name. I'm not sure if I even had one.
Fascinating, Alan. Now I'm very curious about something, and you're going to help me with an answer. Why is it the Carthians are affecting Invictus businesses? Do you know?
I don't know, I just do my part.
Did anyone tell you to actively target our interests?
Nah, I don't need a reason for that.
You don't need a reason for that.
I appreciated it though.
Really? Who in your movement knew that you were actively targeting and ripping off our institutions?
Better question is who didn't.
I see. Was Mr. Foster aware of this?
Not much in the movement he isn't aware of, other than Talon going down the shitter and losing his fucking mind.
Oh, tell me about that.
Yeah. Some weird bitch got her claws in proper bad.
Weird bitch, you say?
Yeah.
Any more?
Talking this big game about making a better kindred. I didn't really stick around to listen to most of it, or Talon's ravings. He's kinda lost it now.
Kind of turns to look at Figment. Isn't building a better kindred your entire sect's concept?
Yeah, I guess if you get down to it, not everybody's, but a lot of them.
I'm curious. Looks back towards. The amount of money that you've taken must be secured in either a bank account, several bank accounts, or being placed somewhere. Where is the money?
Um, I'd say he takes a moment to think, but he's not really sapient right now. I got a couple of dig sites, Ragbberry suitcases, few accounts that a coffee and friends helped me take care of. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm never seeing that again. Oh well.
Balthazar will smile.
Fucking Zachary. Smiley prick.
Who?
He's even worse than me. Mainly because he knows
Zachary?
how to handle money, I just know how to take it.
Who is this Zachary you speak of?
Oh, he's the Carpion's local accountant.
Kindred?
Well, yeah. We don't. I know we're progressive. But we don't exactly accept ghouls into our ranks.
Where is this Zachary?
I don't know.
Fascinating. What a shame. Oh well. He cracks his knuckles, kind of looks at Phineas, and he says, anything you particularly want to ask him? That Talon chap, he was the one who ran the fighting ring before the one you're trying to set up. That's an interesting point to me. Apparently he's gone gaga.
Good to know. No, I can't honestly think of any questions that I may have, unless he wishes to inform us of some of these dig sites that we might
Oh, yes.
rescue our less fortunate compatriots' hard-earned winnings.
So what he does, Chris, is he'll basically, anticipating this, because I think it's a fair anticipation, he wants to do this anyway, he'll take out a map of London, and what he'll do is he'll make him denote where on the map the dig sites are, if that makes sense, as well as any notes like dig under this tree. So essentially he'll take time to do this, if you understand me. As well as getting him to write down the name, account numbers, associated credit card numbers, etc., with the various different accounts that he's put their money in.
What were you looking for, sorry?
So he's going to have him denote on a map his dig sites, and any other pertinent information, like, dig under this tree or dig under this, etc., thing like that. But he's also going to have him list all of the bank account numbers, names, locate all the names of the bank on the bank accounts, the bank account numbers, the relevant codes, any the numbers of any associated ATM or Visa cards with them. Basically, take a full record of this. It's probably going to take about an hour, because Balthazar is going to be really fucking anal with it to make sure he gets the location of every single cent that this guy can remember.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, we'll take quite a while because you're looking for pretty detailed information. But yeah, you can attain it.
Yep, that's not a problem. Basically, he wants every cent this fucker stole from the Invictus, with amounts, and because he doesn't want it himself. What he wants to do is he's going to leverage not even leverage boons, but he's going to give it back to the members of the covenant that this guy's fucked with, and they will hopefully either give him boons or it will increase their himself and Phineas's standing when the money is returned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before they go, though, I did think of the one question I wanted to know. Kind of looks at him, raises an eyebrow, and says, "When were you embraced?"
Right, the 1850s, I think.
So you're slightly older than I am. Why is it? This is going to be an interesting one. Why is it you're as thick-blooded as you are?
I don't know. Some of us grow faster than others, I guess.
Have you ever committed the Amaranth?
No, but sometimes I damn sure wish I did.
Like right now?
I've met worse.
Oh, and just so I can always find you again, open your mouth.
Are you all?
Chris, I'm going to feed him a single point of vitae.
Okay. I'll treat that as breaking his dominate.
Okay, if it'll break his dominate, I won't, because it doesn't say that would break his dominate.
Yeah. Well, I'm being fairly charitable because I'm allowing you to issue basically a lot of different commands to him.
That is how it works. I will say it is one of it is one of the listed things you can do.
Well, what they normally do is you give them a command and then it resolves once they complete it.
Okay, so how does that work with the thing about be my servant for the night? Because that is one of the things that's directly listed.
I mean, I'll be your servant for the night. Yeah.
All right, I won't feed it.
I'll treat that as I'll treat that as like a point of resolution, mainly because
Okay,
that would maybe risk a breaking point for him, given how he operates.
that's fine. I won't blood bond him in that case.
Yeah,
That's fair.
If it was an Invictus, probably not, but he's a Calfian. This would probably be a breaking point for him.
So yeah, with that we will clamber. Because we can get him into a car. We don't even have to like force him into the boot.
Yeah. He can sit comfortably on his way to the torture.
Phineas, however, cannot.
Oh no! It has been stated. I have a large ass saloon, like town car, just so Phineas can sit in it.
Aww. Fran.
He takes up the whole of the back seat, but he has
it's a big ass saloon. Classy saloon though.
Yeah, it's one of those that has the chair, the driver's seat, the main seat. Then it has another chair that directly is leant against those seats, and then a space, and then another set of chairs.
Limo.
Yes, essentially yes, a limo. But we're gonna drive him on over to the casino.
Hey. You take your conquest back to the casino. I assume you give for good keeper a text.
Yep, I'll inform her that we'll be there in 10.
Then the keeper will be waiting around the back of the casino. 2 members of her security team, more jittery and innocently excited than you've ever seen her. She's like a child waiting to get into a candy store.
And the candy store is his intestines.
Oh my, you did it. You really did.
I keep my word.
And for that, I shall be forever grateful to all of you. Although I don't remember you, she says, just sort of one of her fingers points at Vicky, as if like, who are you? She doesn't remember this one.
Oh,
We kind of picked her up along the way.
I'm Figment. We use my graveyard.
Good for you, Figment.
Thanks.
She's quite confused.
I get that a lot.
But you two. I could not express my gratitude with words alone. But what I can offer you is a major boon to you both.
There's also this, Balthazar will say, as he removes the map with its notations and the ledger book with the account number, or the logbook with the account numbers and other objects. He says, you'll more than likely be able to recover your lost cash, as well as, I assume, disseminate the rest of the cash to the various different individuals whom are also on this list, returning the money to the Unconquered.
You shouldn't have.
That is part of our duty.
Even if you tortured him, I very much doubt he'd give up this information. So we had the golden opportunity to take it.
Oh, don't worry, I'd never do something so inelegant. Never or never.
There is one thing of vague concern. Apparently the entirety of the Carthian movement knew about this gentleman's actions and were laughing at us behind our backs whilst it was they counted our money.
Of course they
I
do.
think
We do the same to them all the time.
Yes, but we very rarely have evidence of it.
I mean, he's clearly a broken dog right now. Probably say
Correct.
anything you tell him to. He'll say anything I tell him to. When I'm done with him.
My point is more so, my lady, that we should show them that they should not. How to best phrase this? It is now time, I feel, for them to realize that they are here as our guests. We are not to be mocked in our own house.
I agree. Speaking of house, Mr. Chance, it's so good to meet you. Please come inside, come inside. I love to show you around. Of course, you've already been around, but there's a few VIP areas you haven't visited yet. As he sort of stumbles in, you think, in fact, you're pretty certain the keeper has applied heavy amounts of majesty. She will walk up to Goodwin and kiss him on the cheek.
Aww.
I'm forever in your debt, Phineas.
Crib could use a new door. Just saying. They broke the door.
I did not break any door. That was entirely Balthazar.
I entirely broke the door and will pay for a new door.
If I break a door, I assure you, I will be the first one to own up to it. In this case, I did not break the door.
Thank you, all three of you. I'm so happy for the favour you've done for me this evening. I must admit, I didn't quite expect it.
Think nothing of it. Good evening, Keeper.
Good evening, Master Coleman, and you too, Phineas.
Meeting you.
Bye-bye. She'll just like wrap her arm around poor Mr. Chance.
There's some gratuitous violence about to happen in that building.
And we'll shut the door, and the guards will shut the door behind them. And I think that's all on this scene. Thank you, Let's Play. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time.